Hi, guys. Welcome. You have found us on the Wise Skies podcast. My name is April, and I am filling in for Tiffany today. I'm so excited to be here with our special guest, Celeste Brooks of Astrology by Celeste. Thank you for being here, Celeste.
It is my pleasure.
So we loved your Instagram live chat on Benefer yesterday. I love how you mix in current events with things going on in the skies. It's always so fun to see just things happening in culture through the lens of astrology. So thank you for always delivering at that level.
Oh, my pleasure. I love it.
It's
I
so
feel like
fascinating.
that's part of my purpose, to help people understand what's going on around us, not just in our own lives, but those bigger collective stories and how they relate to astrology and the timing of things.
That's incredible. I agree completely. Do you want to do a little intro for our audience? Just kind of provide a little bit of your background and who you are, and we can jump into today's topic.
Great. Well, I am Celeste Brooks. I am an astrologer, coach, and intuitive. My background is that I have over 25 years of sales, marketing, and business development experience at Fortune 500 companies. Um, a Uranus transit to my son, and I did like a full 180 with my career, and I could see another way of being. Since, like, I don't know if it was to the day when Uranus went into Taurus, I started feeling this pull to do something different. My career was very successful, but it wasn't like this soul fulfillment. And yeah, over time, it's a long story, but last year, I retired early from my corporate career and became an astrologer full time. My passion is really about the moon cycles and helping people understand how they relate to our lifetime of timing in our life, as well as how working with our own natal moon can really help us understand our subconscious motivations and reactivity better. And yeah, so my business is Astrology by Celeste. I'm Astrology by Celeste everywhere. I'm mostly on Instagram. If you sign up for, and TikTok, I just hit 1,000 followers on TikTok. So I was
Hey,
so
that's a big deal.
excited. Yes, yes. Yeah, I think I could keep going on and on, but I assume you want to talk about other things besides me. Oh, you can listen to my Celestial Insights podcast for weekly astrological advice.
Yes, this is a must listen. I listen every single week. It is on my to-do list. Yes, I love it. I share it with people because it's such a practical breakdown of day by day, how to just be aware of what's going on in the skies, how you can plan accordingly. It's just a really quick hitting, high value piece of content. So definitely recommend.
Oh, thank you. Well,
You're
last
so welcome.
thing, I'm a Taurus sun, so I really like to be practical, and Aries moon. So I want us to think bigger, to have the courage to like reach higher for our lives, and a Cancer rising. So I like to, when I create community, I like to have safe spaces where people feel nurtured and seen and held.
That is so beautiful. I love that. Well, today you are here to teach about Mars retrograde and give us a little sneak peek into an upcoming workshop that you're going to be doing for us actually this Thursday, July 21st at 6 p.m. Central Time. And so really excited to give a preview of what you're going to be teaching in that class. And we're also going to pull some cards at the end of our talk today. So that'll be really exciting. So just so everyone knows, the workshop is free for Wise Skies members. It's a great membership. You get so much high value content every month. Definitely recommend signing up. And if you're not a member, you can join this one-time class for $49. And we will give all the details in the description so that you can find it super easy as you're listening to this podcast. So let's jump right in and start talking about Mars and Mars retrograde, what that means for the astrological weather this fall. So Celeste, what do you think about when you're talking about Mars and Mars being in retrograde?
Yes, my favorite description of Mars came from astrologer Jessica Lanyadoo. It's the planet of fighting and fornication. So it's all about our drives, especially our primal drive to get what we want. It's that energy, it's our assertion, it's our ambitions, and as well as it rules anger and aggression, and sex, our desire and how we get sex. And it's also how we walk into a room. So, like you could tell a little bit about whether someone has a fire, air, earth, or water, Mars, about how they enter a room. Yeah. Do
That's
they like charge
fascinating.
in like fire, or they like slink
Yeah.
in and hide hide in the corner? That could be like potentially like that could either be water or earth, or do they just come in like communicating, connecting, air, like that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if they're just coming in hot, full force, maybe a fire sign.
Yes.
Yeah. That's amazing. So if you're listening to this while you're multitasking, don't worry. We're going to have a lot of the details about all of this. But Celeste, would you walk us through kind of, when Mars is going retrograde, what sign it will be in, kind of the mechanics of what's coming up?
So Mars will enter the sign of Gemini in transit from August 20th of this year until March 23rd of next year. So that's 6 months. Mars usually is in a sign for 2 months. So it really drags things out when it goes retrograde. And for people who don't know, a retrograde is, from our perspective on Earth, and it has to do with the orbiting of the planet. It appears to go backwards in the sky. It's an optical illusion. And so the topics that the planet rules are a little wobbly. It doesn't like work so much as well as when it's direct. Think about when you walk straight ahead versus when you walk backwards, the difference in like how you can move. And so retrogrades are a time to reflect, reassess, all those RE words. And it's going retrograde from October 30th, so the day before Halloween for us in the US, until January 12th, 2023.
Wow. Okay. So we are going to be dealing with some Mars themes kind of throughout this next season in our lives. That'll be really interesting. Okay, great. So I would love to hear a little bit about Neptune as a key player here. And if you could kind of elaborate on, what does Neptune represent? How will Neptune's kind of dreamy eyes impact this Mars retrograde cycle? Because I think that's super relevant and interesting to know.
Yeah, so Mars is going to be in Gemini, which is a mutable air sign. Gemini rules things like communication. It rules transportation. And Neptune is in the mutable sign of Pisces. And so what that means is that they're in the same modality, and Gemini and Pisces are in square to each other. So essentially what's going to happen, Mars is going to have a tense activating square to Neptune 3 times during the transit. Neptune is a planet of illusions and delusions. It's the fog, it's the mist. We can think about Mars and Gemini like driving a car. You can think Mars and Gemini is that's a great thing. Square Neptune and Pisces. It just happened like something similar, like there was a dust storm recently, but you could think about like a rainstorm with Neptune and Pisces. You can't see Mars is retrograde in Gemini. You have like an accident. It could be like, if you want to visualize how that confusion, Neptune and Pisces, can lead to things. Now, Mars and Gemini square Neptune can also be like writing the most creative and imaginative book you can ever imagine. Like Avatar is coming out, the second one this December when Mars is in Gemini retrograde. Yeah, so
Wow.
it's just so, and it's in this one is in water, so it's really
Yes,
interesting.
I just saw the preview the other day, and it's literally one about being in the water. So Neptunian with the Pisces. It's fascinating.
Can
And
I
I
take a
think,
detour?
please go for it.
Okay. See, this is why I love talking about this stuff. Okay, so when Avatar 1 came out, Jupiter and Neptune were met in the sign of Aquarius. Jupiter and Neptune come together every approximately like 12, 13 years. Because that's and it's like big imagination, creativity on steroids, and they met in Aquarius in air. And if you remember Avatar 1, they were like in the trees and swinging around. And now they met to this year on April 12th in water in Pisces at 23, almost 24 degrees of Pisces. And Avatar 2 is coming out, and it's called something about water. It's the water's
It
in the
is.
title, and it's
Yes.
in water. So it's just the
You can't
astrology
make
is
this
on
stuff up.
point. You
Yeah.
cannot.
You can't make it up. It's so good. Well, amazing. So what else will you be hitting on today, or not today, but this week in your class? What can people kind of expect to learn or to understand on a deeper level while you teach in your workshop?
So I'm going to talk about the nature of Mars and the nature of Gemini and things that could come to light in your own life and the collective during this retrograde, things to consider. I also will bring in a little bit about the midterm elections for the United States, because this is happening while Mars is retrograde on a day of a lunar eclipse activating Uranus. It's going to be bonkers. But yeah, there are all these different topics. So I'm going to help people to live more presently. So when it's happening, you can recognize things as well as prepare, so that you can, make the most of it. Retrogrades give us an opportunity in order to like revise, revisit, edit things. So I'm going to be talking about that, as well as I'm going to do a few hot takes on people's charts. So if you come, you can bring your birth time, place, and location, date, time, and place.
Yeah, date, time,
And
place. Yeah.
yeah, and I'll do a few hot takes on people's charts. Not yeah, and then so what I think you should think about with this upcoming Mars retrograde, how it may show up in your chart, and I'll talk about each of the signs. What topics, what houses may
Amazing.
be impacted.
Yeah, I've been a part of a workshop like this before where you've done a hot take and I've looked at my chart and it was incredibly insightful. So cannot recommend it enough. It's a really fun way to get access directly to Celeste and her insight. Okay, cool. Well, I am super looking forward to it. I will be hosting that class on Thursday as well. So just make sure that you register if you're a non-member. Again, there will be info in the bio or in the description, the show notes of this podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, the description will be there as well, so that you can sign up. And even if you can't make it live, we really want to encourage everyone to join, because you will get the recording. So if you sign up ahead of time, you'll get the recording. You won't be able to get those hot takes if you don't join live. But it will still be a really valuable workshop. And then I definitely wanted to ask Celeste, I think you're coming back for our Lionsgate event in August as well. Is that true?
Yes, I'm going to be talking about how I use the moon cycles in order to retire early from my corporate career. So
Wow.
yeah, I'm going to be giving a talk for that series seminar.
It's going to be so good. Yeah, it's a whole summit. We're going to have a
Summit.
bunch of cool people who are just really insightful and doing amazing work in their own different kind of spaces. And I'm really looking forward to the moon cycles. It's something I definitely want to understand more for my own life. But yeah, looking forward to it. So this has been super, super informative. Before we go, I was hoping, Celeste, that you would be willing to draw a card for each of our signs, and we could do just fire, earth, air, water, and then maybe one universal card for everyone. And maybe you and I can riff a little bit on what we think those cards are kind of meaning for our audience.
Perfect. I am going to use the Wild Unknown Archetypes deck by Kim Krans. This is one of my favorite decks. And if you go to the Astrology by Celeste Amazon store, I have recommended decks and books. And I get a few pennies if you if you buy through it.
Love it. Love it. That's a great deck. Great.
It.
Well, let's jump in.
Okay. You want me to start?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So the first card is going to be fire. And are we pulling cards for this Mars retrograde or just in general?
Just in general. I think just for the audience today, just as like a sneak peek, something to expect for the week.
Okay. So for this week, what do fire signs need to know? And so for fire signs, tomorrow we are having a last quarter moon at 27 degrees of Aries. So this is intense because the sun at 27 degrees of Cancer is opposite Pluto at 27 degrees of Capricorn. This can be like our desire for safety and and fears for, and like fears can come up that Pluto and Capricorn about our stability, our security, and squaring the moon and Aries. We can be very emotionally reactive. So I want you to think about that with the fire energy. Yeah. Just be like, do something to ground yourself, get your energy out. So here we go, fire signs. I pulled the Judge. So fire signs, number one, you don't want to be in front of a judge. So don't let yourself do something wild with this energy. Use your good judgment is something that you can think about doing with this energy. Mars is in the sign of Taurus, where it doesn't really like to be. It can get really stubborn and fixed in the opinion. Pluto is power struggles, and especially people with their families. I think there can be a lot of tension with the sun opposite Pluto, unearthing things, bringing up this deep primal energy, and squaring off with that Aries, people wanting to take action for the self. So use your good judgment, fire signs, and all will be fine.
That's really interesting. I love the concept of let's not put ourselves in a position where we can be judged harshly.
Yes.
Use good judgment. I think having balance absolutely is always a good way to kind of rein in that fire energy when necessary.
Yeah, and later today, or maybe it already happened. Yeah, Mercury going into Leo. People can be that's more fire. People can be wanting to say what they want to say and get kind of dramatic about it. Yeah, it's really
fire in the skies.
Venus moved into Cancer yesterday. Somebody starts crying. I mean, it's just there's so much shifting energy, and Chiron stationing to go retrograde. It's okay. I could talk all day. Okay, fire, earth.
Let's go earth. All right.
Okay, what do earth signs need to know this week? Okay. The vision. I love this. Mars is technically in detriment in the sign of Taurus, but I really think it gives people the grit to do hard things. So when Mars is in Aries, we see the vision, we start taking action. It's this cardinal sign that gets things started. Well, Taurus is the fixed energy that holds the energy and can keep us moving forward methodically, one step in front of the other. So what is your vision, Taurus? What actions are you taking to move it forward? Mercury in Leo will square your Taurus planets. So yeah, squares are activating, they push us. So yeah, think about how you can, and Leo is such a sign of vision, and the sun's moving into Leo. Leo's like can think big and have big ideas, and yeah, sometimes they forget the details, but you with Taurus, you have that ability to think about, writing the details down and keeping it moving forward. So really connected to your vision. Uranus and the sign of Taurus can bring downloads too.
Yeah, absolutely. I think about that mantra that Glennon Doyle, an author, uses a lot. We can do hard things. And it's so much that grit to just push through and yeah, have the vision to see it all the way to the end. I love that.
Oh, I love that she says that. I say that too.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I also say we don't break down, we break through, when
Oh, that's a
especially
good one.
in fixed. So all Leo season, the sun will be in a fixed sign opposite Saturn. Saturn delays, restrictions, limitations, also achievement after hard work, karma. Yeah, Saturn's
Mm,
the judge. And then squaring Uranus. There's a lot of fixed energy in Leo season.
wow,
Uranus,
that's good to know.
unexpected events. We're seeing this Saturn square Uranus constantly, the breaking down of structures we thought we could rely on, but how can we not break down? We break through. Okay.
That's
Air.
great. Okay, so air, here we go.
Let's see. What do air signs need to know? Especially with Mercury and Mercury and Leo.
Ooh, yep.
Yeah. Maybe put your lips together.
Yes, I
Before you
was going to say
speak,
some
pause.
chattiness. Yeah.
Yeah, practice the pause before you
Practice
speak.
the pause. I saw there's this really famous Mexican restaurant in sorry Celeste in Austin, and they have this really famous marquee. El Arroyo is the account. You can follow it on Instagram, and they show you their marquee every day, and it's always something funny. And one of the recent ones was some people should use a glue stick instead of chapstick, just to glue those lips together. So if you're feeling your mouth run away from you, just zip it.
Yes. What was I going to say? Is this a good restaurant? Is the food good?
Oh yeah, it's great.
Oh, I want to come to Austin. I've never been there.
You got to come down. We'll show you around.
Yes. Okay. Maybe for 2023, that is going to be on the list.
On the
okay.
list.
Okay.
Cool.
So air signs, the queen. I love this. So air signs, how can you be your own sovereign? Sometimes with the mouth moving too quickly, and I'm thinking Gemini in particular, like sometimes, can be really witty and all of that. Like, think about what words you're using. How can they be showing leadership and whatnot? So how can you be thoughtful about what you're saying, the implication it has, and think about how you want to, what you speak, help yourself shine, how you're your own sovereign. Libra, this should be easy for you to think about how you can be a queen. Yeah. And Aquarius, yeah, you can do it too.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Great.
And tap into that feminine energy of receptivity. Also, the queen magnetizes what the queen wants to the queen. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's automatic attraction.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So
maybe
now,
even to put a little more effort into what you're wearing and your hair and all of that stuff. Air signs.
Oh, that's fun. That's a great tip.
Yeah. Feel like a queen when you're out there in the world. Whether you're, whoever you are, male, female.
Exactly.
You can still have that magnetic energy. Okay.
Yeah. So now we're moving on to water. Yes.
Yes. Water signs. Let's see. Water signs. So we're in the last couple of days of Cancer season. This has been a wonderful time to like really connect into what makes you feel safe and secure. Tomorrow, the last quarter moon, consider looking at the intentions you set at the new moon. Where did you start? Where are you now? The last quarter moon is the psychological integration. We think about the lessons we've learned. Yeah. And yeah, that Pluto, Sun opposite Pluto square the moon, that's intense. So just keep that in mind and watch your emotions. And oh, the mountain. I love this. So the mountain, to me, like this, we could think about what we were just talking about. We can do hard things, we can achieve and climb. We can think about, I also think about the mountain, this is earth, and water and earth make fertile soil. I also think about, this is very Capricornian, and also like an obstacle. A mountain can feel like an obstacle if you're trying to get to A to B. So what do you do when you come up against the mountain? If there's not a tunnel to go through, you can go around it, you can go under it, you can go over it. So think about how you can be strategic when you come up against some restrictions. Also think about what structures you can rely on. I feel like that's another thing with the mountain. And yeah, and think about the beauty and the majesty of the mountain as well. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I love that, all of it. Also just thinking through, maybe we need to get above something to get a different perspective,
Oh
you
yeah.
know, get a different viewpoint, sometimes kind of rising above and getting out from the minutia and being down in it. When we climb, we kind of get this view and perspective that we didn't know was there before. It can feel very majestic. So yeah, sometimes I like to think, if I'm too much in the middle of something, if I can't see my way through, like let's zoom out. Let's look at the bigger picture here. And the mountain may be some good energy to do that for our
Yeah.
water signs.
Yeah. And it also says in the book, the ascent. Think about what you're ascending, the peak, the insurmountable. So also
Mm-hmm.
think about that. But there are gems, minerals, and jewels inside the mountain if you're willing to do the work.
Wow, I love that too.
Okay, me too.
Great. Well, let's wrap up with just pulling one more kind of universal card that kind of wraps up the energy for all of our listeners this week. And then we can definitely look forward to our time together on Thursday.
Okie dokie. Okay. What do we all need to contemplate this week as all those things I was saying? Venus has moved into Cancer, Mercury is moving into Leo, Chiron stationing to go retrograde, the wounded healer bringing up some, potentially bringing up those like core childhood wounds, that cardinal T-square, Sun opposite Pluto square the moon, releasing in Libra. How can we nurture win-win solutions? So if you're in a conflict, how can you stop and think about, okay, how can we make this work for both of us? Yeah.
I like that. That's really relatable to me today, is thinking about, okay, what is a win-win solution? It's not about I'm the winner, you're the loser, vice versa. Let's end with a best case scenario. Everybody's happy.
Yes. Okay. Or everybody feels like they got something out of it, or at the minimum heard. The healer. So Plutonic energy is about transformation, that life, death, rebirth can be healing. You can think about, you see the snake is a symbol in many cultures about healing. Yeah. So how can we, with the words we say to others and to ourselves, like be talking about things that help heal the Chiron stationing heal those old wounds, or how can we share what we've learned with someone else that may help them. So really have compassion for other people. We are going through it. You have no idea what's going on in someone's life, what they're dealing with all this, fundamental breakdown of the US and the Pluto return and the whole world in the last 3 degrees of Pluto in Capricorn, the transformation of governments and authority and business and all of that stuff. So try to be a healer rather than a herder. Yeah.
That's beautiful. I think we can all use an extra dose of healing, and simultaneously we can offer some compassion. As Tiffany likes to say, we all deserve more unconditional love, not less. And I think that's definitely an applicable.
Can I say one more thing?
Of course, yeah.
So if we put them all together, how can you use good judgment? Keep your mind focused on the vision that you want for your life and your community, your country, all of it. How can you be the sovereign, the queen, act as a leader in your environment? When you come up against obstacles and mountains, how can you ascend? How can you be the climber? And most of all, working for the healing of it all. Yeah.
That's beautiful. And because we all have elements of air, fire, water, we have all the elements in our charts. We are complex people. Each one of those cards does have impact on every one of us in different ways.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure, Celeste, if people want to book a reading with you, they can do that. Why don't you tell people where to find you?
Oh yeah, that's what I forgot to talk about. I was yammering about something else. So I do astrology readings, natal chart readings, as well as synastry readings for couples, as well as I'm specialized in horary astrology, which is astrology of the hour. You can ask a question. You don't even need a birth time. And then once I understand it, it can be about relationships, business. It's like something soul stirring you really need to know or really want insight, and then I cast a chart. And
wow.
Yeah, I do coaching as well as mentoring for people who want to learn more, like astrologers in the making, but coaching for anyone, like using my business expertise in the astrology in your natal chart, blah blah blah. I also do events, like if you have a bridal shower, a party, anything like that coming up. So you can find me at astrologybyceleste.com. That's my website where you can book a reading. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Astrology by Celeste, the Celestial Insights podcast. And I teach a moon mastery class that's coming back in September. And you can get my free setting intentions with the moon guide on my website.
I love it.
This is Mercury and Leo in action. Self-promotion.
So good. Oh no, we're all about it. We're all about it. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. Our conversation was very informative and fun, and I'm really excited to go deeper on Mars retrograde on Thursday.
I am looking so forward to it. And I recommend Wise Guys Collective. It's so wonderful. I, as a master teacher for you, I have a membership too. So there are some amazing talks on it. So definitely check it out.
Thanks, y'all. Until we see you again next time, I'm April, filling in for Tiffany. And be well and namaste.
Thank you, April.